Hi, Melissa, and welcome back.
Hi, great to be back.
Good, good. So I'm Misty Cabanis, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Live, Earn, and Play in Central Florida. And I'm with Melissa McGlinchey with Premier Mortgage, and we are going to talk again about the application.
Awesome. Yes, lots to talk about with the application. There always seems to be. So one of the misconceptions and struggles I think up front for people completing the application is, one, they feel like, oh, this commits me. Like I
They
have
feel
to.
like they're obligated.
They feel like they're obligated, and then they're starting to feel a little overwhelmed with the application. And so recently it's been just letting people know, hey, this is just a first step, right? This is let's see what you can qualify for. Okay. And it helps me to see, are there any red flags? Are there anything that we need to discuss, go over, review, correct, or work on before you're ready to purchase the home? So it's really part of the whole inquiry process of completing that application.
So this is super important, especially with somebody that they make good income, but they have some dings on their credit. They have not so great credit. So you getting to that application and them telling them, and then them explaining what their situation is. It gives you a chance to help with that. We're not going to go into credit repair, but that's one of the reasons why. But also, you getting their information and starting the application sooner than later is a huge negotiating tool for me as a realtor for them. So we're doing by someone's getting the application in sooner than later, whether you're 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months out, the time to start that is now. And like you said, they're not obligated, but it gets we're doing the heavy lifting, the hardest part first, getting that up and done. And then it goes into, we're going to talk a little bit about the underwriting process and what that means and how we can get them once we find a property. And part of our negotiating strategy is being able to close sooner than what the competition is, close sooner than what the other offer is coming in, because what's important to sellers is not always price. Sometimes it's terms, and sometimes the being able to close sooner is more important to them. So this takes us from a 45-day close down to maybe sometimes a 20-day close, which is a huge negotiating tool for buyers.
Yeah, and when sellers know, hey, someone's already done the application, they've already gone through underwriting, and we have an approval, okay, through underwriting, we can close in 20 days or less. Because really, when I get someone to that point, we're just sitting there waiting for the appraisal to get done. And then the appraisal is what's taking that 20 days, right? It's just that the rest of that process of getting the appraisal done, getting the appraisal reviewed, and then getting your clear to close. But when the sellers know that someone's already done that much up front,
right,
they're good to go. We're just waiting on a property. That's a big tool for getting your offer accepted from the real estate side.
Yeah, I call those the dirty little secrets of real estate. It's all the things that go into a deal that people don't think about, and because that also you bring up how that makes the seller feel comfortable, but it also sometimes the deal is only as good as the communication between each realtor. And not to open a can of worms there, but another realtor, and seeing that we've done that much homework and that much legwork ahead of time, then they're going to want to work with us as opposed to someone else as well.
Yes, absolutely. I do get a lot of comments on that from realtors I've never worked with before, when they're the listing agent, and then I come in with the buyer and say, hey, we've already got them approved through underwriting with TBD. We were just waiting on the property. All I really need is the appraisal, and we can close. And they say, oh my goodness, I haven't worked with someone who's done that before. So it's everyone throughout the whole process really likes that. So that's my goal up front. when someone comes to me and we have enough time to make sure that we can go through the application process, I get them underwritten, they're comfortable, we've got all the expectations set, they're good to go. All they're needing to do is just find that property.
Yep. And the same thing happens with me. I have realtors compliment me all the time on that process because, we've taken the time to, make sure our buyer is going to have the best experience. And and part of that is making sure their offer gets accepted. And that's a huge way to have someone's offer accepted and not have any, also gives us time to work out any of the kinks ahead of time. Because when a buyer's engaging in a property and then they get excited and all these emotions come in, it also helps them. This is a huge point too, that it helps them spread out the process where not everything, because at some point in time in a loan, everything happens at once. And buyers get stressed out, especially if they're dealing with, a work schedule and things like that. It takes time, for people have to take time out of their day and out of their life to buy or sell a house. And this just, again, gets kind of the heavy lifting done up front. And when you're not so pressured with, oh my gosh, now I have a house and now I have to do all of this at the same time. So it just is a really great way to relieve stress as well.
Definitely 100% great way to relieve stress. The most stressful times are people calling me up saying, I need somebody pre-approved and I need them pre-approved today because they just got a contract accepted. Oh my goodness, that's the last thing you want to do to somebody. So that's very stressful for a buyer, much less myself.
That's stressful for everybody.
Yes, we want to make sure that's a nice, smooth process for everybody, that you're not feeling stressed or rushed from anybody through the process. So definitely a good idea to just go ahead and get the application done, have the conversation with myself or your lender. So then this way we're talking through the process, we're setting the expectations, seeing if there's any red flags, seeing if there's anything you need to work on. Then we underwrite your file, and then you're just waiting to find a property, and it goes so quickly and so smoothly from that point.
Right. And at that point, it also, again, if somebody had to work on anything credit wise, but again, it's not an obligation, and they have the option once they fill in their application. And again, you're just looking for the minimum amount of information. Like, let's not overcomplicate this and make it super hard. I know that when they're scrolling through the pages, so to speak, the pages, the frames of the listing,
Correct.
for the
application,
application, that what is it, 8 of them, eight.
There's quite a few different screens because we try to dumb it down a little bit when they're completing the application.
Make it simple.
Correct. We're just trying to make it simple because it can still be overwhelming, right?
Yes. And that's why we're just looking, you don't have to fill out every single thing on every page. So you just need the minimum information, their name, their social security number, and a few other things.
Correct. Name, address, date of birth, social security number, where have you lived for the last 2 years? Where have you worked for the last 2 years? And anything at all. It doesn't matter what it is in that application. Once they click submit, I can change every single line item on that application. So once I start talking with them and interviewing them and asking them questions, if I feel something needs to be changed or corrected, I make that change.
So it's not set in stone.
Nothing is set in stone when they complete that application. That is correct.
Right. It's a jump start to getting them started. And I know we keep saying this, but I just can't stress enough because I see so many people that they're very apprehensive about the application. And, it's not that it's not a big deal, but it's no more than just giving your basic information to get the process started so that you can put them in underwriting, like we talked about, that speeds up the process so that they can get to, they can be set up and ready to go by the time we're looking for houses. And again, 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months out, the time to start that is now. And I cannot say that enough.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree with you, Misty.
Okay. Well, I think we, we covered that today. And, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to Melissa or myself. As always, I will have our contact information on the text on the video here. So, Melissa, thanks again for all the great information. I look forward to what our next video is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And don't ever be afraid to complete an application.
Yes, just do it. Would you like the Nike commercial? Just do it.
That's right. That's right.